It's a bankable asset and still one of the best investments to make. We're talking about real estate, but when planning for the future and the legacy you leave behind, what is the best way to allocate these holdings to your surviving family? On this Money Monday, we'd like to welcome Roni Haskell, a broker and real estate specialist at Keller Williams. Good to have you.
Thank you so much for having me today.
So we live in the land of lots of land, lots of property, gets passed through the generations. So we're speaking to the right audience.
Yes.
For one.
Yes. Charleston has a rich heritage, and wealth in real estate has been a legacy that families have, for generations, have left behind for the future family members. So.
Certainly. Where do people make the mistake? Because I'm sure things have gotten quite ugly, dirty, messy in the event that someone passes and they've got these holdings still hanging in the balance.
Yes, and so as a real estate agent in the local market, but also as a senior specialist in real estate, I do a lot of work with estate planning and estate work after the fact, after a family, a loved one has been passed away. And so I get this opportunity then to handhold the new owners, let's say, of the property as they segue into trying to figure out what the best solution is for the land. And so, it can be problematic, but with great estate planning, it doesn't have to be. And so that's what I like to coach my clients, is to do that work up front to get to that mission.
So where does that process start?
Well, it starts early on. Really, it should start as soon as you acquire land. That early on. As soon as, and that's a conversation that I have. I have a great legal team that I work with. I'm not a real estate legal attorney, so I have to make sure I clarify that, but I do have a strong legal team that I work with. Oftentimes at that closing table, we are already talking about setting up an appointment for getting a will drafted, and then possibly even putting that property into a family trust.
I see. And so in the event that you move on to the other side, you've crossed that rainbow bridge and you've got these pieces of property you leave behind. So then what is the next step for the people who inherit it?
So the conversation, there's three things that I tell my clients: to do the planning, have that conversation and communication with your loved ones that you are going to be passing it on to, and then make sure that you have that will in place, and then even take it and get a step further to have that trust in place, because a probate, if you get into the judicial system, it can take months, even years to get through it. And so a will is one thing, right? And so you're specifying what is going to happen and who's going to control that property, but having it in a trust can eliminate the entire the whole probate period for family members.
So you're advising trusts over wills, because people can do funny stuff with wills.
Well,
we've seen it before. It's
inevitably, what I've experienced, and you're right, people can, but you're really putting your loved ones into business together. So I don't know how your family might work, or my family in essence, but for many families, the siblings shouldn't be in business together. But really, the last this past generation has more wealth in real estate than we have ever seen in our country.
That's amazing.
And so we want to make sure that we protect that investment that these families now own, and by doing so in a trust or even into a will, either way, whatever fashion is best suited for your family, it's good to have that conversation very early on. And it's never too late. Go get it done.
Communication and taking the guesswork out of it.
Yes.
Because things can get a little sideways. And also, I would think that in order to protect it, to protect the interests of the folks who inherit these properties.
That's right.
You don't want A, B, C, or D coming in out of left field and saying, oh, wait, I've got rights to this.
And it happens. It happens, and then we have to deal with it, and that's one of the reasons that things sit into the judicial system for months and years, is because you've got other family members that are coming in wanting to have access to that or have a say-so in it. And so we just want to make sure that we are doing our part as property owners to leave. We want to leave something to our heirs, but we want to do it responsibly. And we want to make sure that we're creating a very seamless process as much as we can for those loved ones.
Very good, Roni. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
We're back after this.